Dude, the name of this song? It's called Milo's. YouTube free audio library, thank you. Evening Land, whatever that is, you're awesome. Booyah.
What's up, y'all? I'm Allyn Hane, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another week. All right, so today, this is a video that is gonna give you exactly what the title says. I'm gonna give you the most basic, beginner lawn care tips that I can. And the reason I'm gonna do that, I've noticed lately that a lot of the questions I'm getting are really super basic. Like people who have just bought a house and they're like, Allyn, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what to do. Can you help me? And the answer is, yes, I can. Because, you know, sometimes, as you guys know, especially you guys that are on my email list, I can get a little bit overly complicated sometimes. And that's a flaw that I have. I always try to way over deliver, and sometimes I get way over complicated. Anyway, the one thing that I never want to happen as our community here on YouTube grows, and then the green community in general online grows, I never want anyone to feel like excluded or feel like there's some kind of like private club here that you can't get into. And so today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you some very basic lawn tips. For those of you that are just starting out, they're like, I don't even know where to begin, this is exactly where you begin. And by the way, you will be getting results within 6 weeks if you do exactly what I tell you. And so that's what this video is all about. This video is for beginners. And by the way, if you're an intermediate or advanced, it's still good for you to watch this, because I can tell you, as you guys saw last week, my rookie noob mistakes that I make trying to sharpen my mower blades, everybody can always use a review. And like I say, repetition is the key to learning. So with that, let's get into some really basic tips that'll hopefully help you guys out. All right, now the first thing I need you to do before you get started is find out what your grass type is. Now this is not gonna be as difficult as you think. See this little graphic that I'm displaying up here? We basically have 3 areas of the country where grass types can grow. Let's get rid of the easy ones first. Here's the deal. If you live in a cool season area, you're gonna have Kentucky bluegrass, turf type tall fescue, ryegrass, possibly bentgrass, but don't worry about that one. You're gonna mostly have those, Kentucky bluegrass, ryegrass, or some sort of fescue, turf type tall fescue, more than likely. These grasses look a lot like these in this picture. This is actually turf type tall fescue. Kentucky bluegrass looks very similar in rye. Don't worry about nailing it perfect. You probably have a blend of a few of those if you live in a northern cool season state. So if you live in that area, just go to bat with the fact that you've got cool season grass, and that's all you need to know. Those of you in the south, you're gonna have basically 4 choices, which I can show you 3 of them live right here, and I can show you another one on a video. So with that, let's look at the first warm season choice, and that's going to be St. Augustine. This is St. Augustine, and you can see that it's been cut horribly. I'll link to the video last week that'll show you how that happened. That's terrible. We're going to actually talk about mowing here very soon. But this is St. Augustine grass. Nice, tight blades like this. It's a little crunchy underfoot, so you definitely know when you have it. The other way to identify St. Augustine is it sends out these runners, like this one here that you can see, and that's how it spreads. You will never find this in seed, only in solder plugs, but you can see that's a runner right there trying to make its way out. So that's how you can tell St. Augustine grass. Again, this is a little chewed up because it's on the edges here. This one's a little more tricky because I've got a mixture here, but this is Bermuda grass, and I'll show you some videos of Bermuda as well. But this is Bermuda, and this is leggy because I've been mowing it tall, and this is not the best place to be, but this is definitely Bermuda, and it looks a lot of different ways. I'll try to put some different pictures on the screen for you so you can see it, but it's a nice, beautiful, low-cut type of turf. Now this last one, this is zoysia grass, and you're mostly going to see this in the south, but you will see this up in through the transition zones and definitely in coastal areas like over near Savannah, Georgia. Now here's the deal with southern turf types. If you're not sure, what you want to do is take samples and pictures to your local county extension service. I'll link in the description below. They are there to help. Now, if you can't do that, the other thing to do is go to a real garden center, not a big box store, but take your samples to a real garden center in your area, and they'll also help you identify your grass type. This also goes for those of you in transition zones, because you could have a little bit of anything from anywhere, especially if you're more coastal. Hey, what's up, boys? What are you guys doing? Did I run up on you too fast? You know what Joe Rogan said about you guys? Do you? He said you're the ribeye of the sky. I would never treat you that way, bruh.
Freaking pterodactyls, man.
Okay, now the next thing I want you to do is measure your lawn. Now this is something that is gonna help you later on down the road. And I'm gonna link in the description to a video below where I show you how to do it. But listen, measure your lawn by hand. You can step it off, you can use a tape measure, use a walking measuring wheel, something like that. Don't use an online tool. The reason I want you to measure your lawn is I need you to get a feel for your land. Believe it or not, that will mean so much to you in the future when you understand what it's like to walk your own land. And the way that you're gonna learn that is to measure it first. This way you can visualize sizes and areas, and that way when you're doing things later on, like fertilizing, things will start to kind of pop in your mind and things will start to come together for you. So the second thing I want you to do is measure out your lawn. Okay. All right, now that you know your grass type and your lawn size, now it's time that you're gonna start mowing. I'm gonna tell you right now that mowing is the single most important thing that you're gonna do, and if you do it right, it will be the single most important reason why your lawn looks nice. I seriously mean that. I think sometimes in this community we don't talk enough about mowing tips because we think it's too simple, but actually the basics are really what matters. So let's talk about mowing basics, and I promise you, if you institute just this one thing, your lawn will look better overall. So we'll use this Honda here. And the first thing I want you to do is mow your lawn at the correct height. So let's talk about the correct height for each grass type. This one's not gonna be too complicated, and here you go. If you have cool season grass, that's gonna be fescue, Kentucky bluegrass rye, I want you to mow at 3.75 or 4 inches. That's typically gonna be the top setting on your mower. Set it and forget it. That's what you're gonna do.
I'm just gonna slide it through like so. Very, very easy. You match it up with the wheel on the other side. We'll just slip it in like that.
Anyone can do it.
Area right over here. Slide it back. It falls into place. I'll pull the window up like so. Turn it on. I'll set it and...
Forget it!
Right.
If you have St. Augustine like I do, same thing. Mow it at the tallest setting. And in fact, if you can get a mower that mows taller than 4 inches, you can do St. Augustine at 4.5. But either way, St. Augustine grass, mowed tall. Very tall. Zoysia and centipede, you're kind of in the middle, but I would still recommend that you guys go right at 3 inches, no shorter. The reason I'm telling all of you guys to mow tall is because taller grass means more leaf surface to absorb more sunlight, which creates more sugars. That's the process of photosynthesis, which helps to strengthen the plant overall. Mow tall. Now, the one exception that I've got is Bermuda grass. You guys can go a little bit lower. Still though, don't go too low because then you're gonna have bumps and ruts in your lawn and things are gonna look weird. So I would say with Bermuda, 2.5 inches. Maybe push it to 2, but don't go any lower for your first year. 2 to 2.5 inches. That's where you want to be. All right, next, now this is really important, is going to be a sharp mower blade. Now, last week, again, I'll link in the description below. Last week, I did not sharpen my mower blades properly. In fact, I cut my lawn with one on completely backwards. Let me show you what it did.
You can definitely see it right here. See the lighter lines? So look, we'll go right here. Look. Super frayed, nicely cut, right? Shows that when I sharpened it, it was good. Look at those nice, clean cuts, razor cuts. And then you come over here and it's like frayed like a mofo, bro.
Just completely shredded. So there's two things that does. The first thing is, when you have a lawn that's completely shredded like that, when you look across it, it's not gonna look as green because you're seeing all those brown, tan shreds in there. So that's the first thing. Then the next thing is that allows for disease and other things to get into the plant. I mean, these are injuries, right? Think of this like your skin. The more open skin you have, the more open wounds you have, the more chance you have of some sort of infection getting in there. And that's really the same with the lawn. Whereas when you do nice, clean scissor cuts, see if I can find one because one of the blades was on correctly. All right, and then the last tip is mowing frequency, and this is super important depending on your grass type. If you have St. Augustine, I want you to mow twice a week, for real. Mow every 4 days if you can. The more you mow, the more it will grow. And I don't mean top growth shooting up, I mean in general, it's gonna put its energy into other things like roots and more runner growth, which is gonna make the lawn thicker. So keep cutting it. If you have Bermuda, this is even more important. It's alpha male grass. The more you cut it, the more it's gonna spread. The more you chop chop its head off, the more it looks back up at you and says, okay, fine, I'm gonna grow more arms and more tentacles, and I'm gonna go, go, go. So if you have Bermuda grass, mow it every 2 days if you can. It will spread like wildfire. Zoysia and centipede are a little bit slower, but the idea here is we want to follow the 1/3 rule. Never cut off more than 1/3 of the grass blade in a single mowing. So you're going to have to determine that based on how fast your lawn is growing, how much water it's getting, how much sunlight it's getting, how fast it's growing. But let me just illustrate really quick. All right, so I've got a grass blade here, and it doesn't matter what your grass type is. You want to follow the 1/3 rule. Let's see something here. How long is that? I don't know. What would I tell my wife that is? Like 10 inches? Let's see what it is for real though. Yeah, it's about right. So there we go. 4, right? 4.5. I might need to call Home Depot and get a tutorial on how to read tape measure, but anyway, that's for another time. So if we've got 4.5 here, right? And I'm cutting at 4, that's perfect actually. My lawn is in perfect shape because I'm gonna actually just be taking off that much right there, that 1/2 inch. That's all I'm gonna take off when I go mow today. And that's perfect because that is not removing more than 1/3 of the grass plant. And in fact, this is perfect. If you can only just cut the tips like that every time, just the tips, that's really a great way to mow. But some of you won't be able to mow quite that often depending how the growth goes. So just don't remove more than 1/3 of the grass blade at any one time. If you do that, you're not going to stress the plant and it's going to grow nice and healthy. So remember the 1/3 rule, never remove more than 1/3 of the grass blade in a single mowing. If you're finding that when you mow, it is requiring you to remove more than 1/3, then that's where I'm telling you to mow more often. And it really is that important. So learn to mow in the evenings after work, not just on Saturdays and Sundays. You may not have to do that all the time, but definitely in the spring, really strong spring push, you may consider mowing twice a week. This goes for you guys up there with the Kentucky bluegrass, perennial rye, and turf type tall fescue, just as well as those of you with zoysia or with centipede. And just to reiterate, if you have St. Augustine, mow more often if you can. The more often you mow, the more it will grow. Same thing with Bermuda. In fact, Bermuda, I'm almost gonna require it every 3 days. If you wanna have a nice lawn, I'm serious now. This is an easy thing that you can do. Just mow more often, get the exercise, and get that lawn turned up, boyo. Okay, now let's talk about fertilizing because yes, you beginners, you should be fertilizing. I know it seems daunting, right? You're thinking, oh, I'm gonna burn my lawn. Oh, I'm gonna burn my lawn. No, you're not. Trust me, this is another reason why we use Milorganite. Number one is because it's available pretty much everywhere. And secondly, it's goof proof. You're not gonna hurt anything. And in fact, I want you to use it to learn. I want you to apply it, see what your lawn does, and learn from there. I'm gonna link in the description below to some helpful videos that'll show you how to fertilize your lawn. But those, I do a lot of math and funky stuff in those. I do that for fun. Don't get wrapped around the axle on that. Don't get confused with that. I want you to just go out and throw her down. And let me show you some basics real quick. So people always panic over what setting do I put my spreader on in order to get that down, right? And again, I've got videos below that'll show you that. But even if you don't understand those, because chances are you're not gonna understand those the first few times you watch them, here's what I want you to do. However your spreader looks, and I'll link in the description below to EarthWay spreaders. These are what I use. This model number is not always available, but they've got other really good quality ones. I have just not found another homeowner style spreader that I like any better than EarthWay. These are the best in my opinion. Either way, whatever your setting looks like, if I set it down here, this is a lower setting. Less is gonna come out, right? Because I pull this back and those drop holes open, right? See that? And they don't open very much. Then if I move the setting way back and I pull them back, you can see now that the drop holes are wide open. So somewhere in that setting is going to get that down properly. What I recommend you do is do this. So put it at about the 1/3 mark. So whatever that looks like, it's different. If you have a dial spreader, 1/3 is not going to be the same as 1/3 on here. Doesn't matter. We're just trying to be low. So stay somewhere in that lower range, okay? Pull it back. And then take a look at what that looks like. So there we go. Drop holes are only open a little bit. Fill up your spreader and go. Again, watch my videos on how to do it with the overlap and all that, but just go. Don't worry about the setting. Just set it low and go. Do a small section of the lawn, see how much fertilizer you get down, and wait 10 days and look for results. If the lawn doesn't turn any greener, then you know you didn't put enough down. If the lawn turns nice and green, well then you know that maybe that's a good rate for you to have. Just stick with that setting and that walk speed and go. Or adjust up or down in between. The good news is if you go super heavy-handed, your lawn's just gonna be dark blue-green and it's gonna grow a lot. That's the whole thing. You're not gonna hurt anything with this. So get out there and have some fun. Be a cowboy and throw her down. Now pick a small area of your lawn and go out and throw her down. You've measured the lawn, so you can pick an area that's easy for you to manage, maybe a 1,000 square foot area, or like in the case here that I'm showing you, this is a 2,500 square foot area. Put it down and see what you have left. It's another reason why I recommend you keep a lawn journal, because what this does is it allows you to keep notes of what you're applying and when, and what the results are. So whatever you do with your experiments, make sure you write them down in a lawn journal. I've been out here and running around and I'm using that tree. I'm trying to use the tree right there to block the wind, so I'm not really sure how clear I'm being, but what I really want to get across with this part, with the fertilizing part, is get yourself some Milorganite and go down and throw it down. Don't be afraid of it. It's not gonna hurt you. Get out and do it. I'm telling you, once you get over that initial whatever apprehension, I know you have it, it's normal. Once you get over that and you get out and you start spreading, you're gonna catch the fever and you're actually gonna start enjoying it and you're gonna learn along the way. Remember, everything you do is to learn so you can do it better the next time. Now, be logical too. It says right here on the bag, right? Covers up to 2,500 square feet. All right, well, if I measured my lawn and I know that I have a 2,500 square foot area, then maybe I'll just put the whole bag down there and see what happens. Again, adjust your setting however you want, or walk across the lawn multiple times. The idea here is you're getting practice, and practice is how you learn. And that way, when it comes to using a product that actually could hurt the lawn if you did it wrong, you'll be ready. You'll know what the settings are, you'll know what the walk speed feels like, you'll know what the overlap looks like and how long it takes, and then you'll be good. Just remember, put some ass into it. All right, now the last thing we're gonna talk about is spraying weeds. And yes, as a beginner, I want you to spray weeds. We've actually got a free guide that I just finished writing. It's called How to Kill Dandelions for Beginners. It could have been really anything, but it's basically how to spray weeds. The only reason we're saying dandelions is because that's what everybody's searching right now. But it is a free guide. If you click on the link in the description below and sign up for my newsletter, you'll get my free tip every single week, but also we'll send you this guide and a bunch of others, but this one on how to spray weeds. It's for beginners and it's for basics. And it teaches you how to use products that you should be able to go to any big box store right now and get, but I show you exactly how to mix them, how to spray them, and there's even a companion video that goes with it. So with that, I want you to learn how to spray weeds, knowing that the products that I recommend, especially for those of you in cool season grass, are really goof proof. They're like super less concentrated or more watered down, for really a better term. The active ingredients are low. They're low on purpose because homeowners are gonna use them, and homeowners are not pros, and the equipment that you use is not necessarily always so professional. So there's a lot of fudge factor there, and it's a great way to learn by using these products and spraying dandelions, because dandelions are super easy to kill. It's a great way to learn how to spray weeds. So if you do have to tackle larger problems later, you've learned while it's easy. Plus dandelions just look horrible, especially this time of year. So with that, click in the link in the description below and get that free guide on how to spray dandelions for beginners. Okay, last thing real quick. Now I'm gonna go enjoy my mow, and I'm tell you what, I'm gonna have a good time with that, especially after last week's debacle. I'm gonna mow this puppy the right way, make her look nice, pretty, and well groomed for the weekend. Now, one last thing. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do that. I have a video coming out and we're gonna announce a contest that I'm running with Milorganite. I'm telling you, this is the best contest I've ever run with them. There's gonna be plenty of swag for you guys, but even more than that. I'm not gonna say any more right now. Just make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that bell or whatever it is so you get the notifications that everybody always talks about. Get those and make sure you subscribe to the channel to see this. I'm gonna release this tomorrow night. That's Sunday night. With that, I'm Allyn Hane, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and I'll see you in the lawn.